Thanks for tuning into episode 100, episode 100 of the Canadian Mortgage Show. Let's commemorate this. Crack open a beer.
There's people can't tell in the video. We kind of look the same height here, but I thought, hey, like let's actually show people.
Oh gosh,
my head goes away.
Welcome to the Canadian Mortgage Show. Here are mortgage professionals, Pang and Alex Shanks, to cut through the BS and educate Canadians on all things mortgages and real estate.
Welcome to episode 100 of the Canadian Mortgage Show. Alex Pang here, alongside my co-host, Alex Shanks. Alex, congratulations, episode 100. Folks, you notice that we're in a different place right now. We're actually in the same place.
We're in the backyard at the Shanks residence here, and I mean, I hope my kids don't come out and throw eggs on us. We're down below them, so we'll see if that happens. What I wanted for us to do, Alex, and if people can't tell in the video, we kind of look the same height here, but I thought, hey, like let's actually show people.
Oh gosh,
the height. And I mean, if you're watching, my head goes away. There's no more view.
You gotta bend down now. You gotta bend down now so you can see. Yeah. So Alex is tall, 6'7". I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
I'm regular size for age.
Are you actually 5'8"?
Yes, I'm 5'8". I'm actually 5'7 3/4 now, but I'm shrinking. But yeah, I mean,
let's
commemorate this. Crack open a beer. Cheers, buddy.
It's crazy. I mean, we're just looking at like in the first episode, and I mean, it's crazy. It's been a long time.
Absolutely. I mean, folks, before we begin, make sure you hit that follow and subscribe button on YouTube and Spotify. Help us grow that community. Help us hit 1,000 on both platforms. So, Alex, you made the trek to Vancouver before.
Yeah, a few times. Yeah.
This time, me and my family did it. We didn't get up as early as you have.
Yeah, what time was your guys' travel at?
Yeah, we kind of mirrored it so that so our hotel check-in's at 3.
Yeah.
So we actually did what time was the 10:05 ferry?
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, you
guys still had to get up at like 8ish.
Yeah, I still woke up at 7:30.
Yeah.
But funny enough, sometimes when you're excited about something, you don't get that much sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I went up, go to the bathroom at 5:45.
And you were just thinking about making sure you had everything packed. Alex came with a suitcase. You can't see it. It's a full suitcase for everything. We got a full on. I mean, I might be able to start a podcast studio out here now.
Yeah. My goodness. I actually packed my entire setup at home, put it in a carry-on and lugged it all the way here. Didn't use everything, but the lighting's really good. We had to move a few times because
the sun was getting into us, and we were going to do it in here, but I think it's nice to be outside. And I mean, it's not most of the time we're working inside of an office, so hey, it's daytime. Normally we record our podcast at night, so hey, we get to enjoy it being out live here together that way. And it's I mean, we're just going to get to reminisce of about 100 episodes.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've come a long way. I mean, when we first started, it was like, okay, let's just make it to episode 50. And oh man, I'm talking as I'm crying here. My goodness, maybe I'm really emotional that we hit 100. No, folks, it's really just allergies. But yeah, we hit 100 episodes. I mean, I remember the day when we first started, you were like, okay, let's just make it to 10 because most people do 6 and they don't make it. We're like, okay. So I guess you tempered our expectations. So we brought it back to like, okay, let's make it to episode 50. That's the first year. Yeah. And then I even told you in the beginning, I already envisioned that we were celebrating the 100th episode.
Exactly.
And we're here now. Yeah. So, I mean, I took a look at our first episode.
Yeah, I mean, let's pull it up here and let's watch a little bit of it because I'm interested to see it here because it's I mean, I'd say my setup has definitely gotten much better. It used to be pretty janky, and so I mean, here let's look at this here. We got
educational purposes only.
Pass. Look, your quality, you look pretty good. My quality looks horrible. There's no ring light. First episode.
Our viewers, everyone here, just kind of tell them about what we're
doing. Alex is so dark.
I did the intro there.
Yeah. He didn't have a ring light at the time. I'm like, why the hell are you so dark?
I mean, I would say like quickly going through this, like, again, I'm not going to watch much more. I mean, it's always interesting. This doesn't look like the quality looks bad there, Alex, but like us talking doesn't seem, I think that's because we did do social media before already is like, if you're going back and watch your very first episode on TikTok, oh my God, mine is bad. It is. But again, you have to start somewhere, people. Like, who cares if it looks bad? Like
Yeah.
it's just doing it. And that's where on mine, hey, yeah, my quality looks a lot worse than Alex, but I was like, if I try and make this a perfection, I'm just not going to do it. I'm someone that just has to just do it,
Yeah.
or it doesn't happen.
Yeah, folks. I mean, when you're doing anything, it's going to be clunky at first, and as you keep doing it, you'll start getting better. It'll be quicker, and then if you look back, like, oh, 10 tries ago, like, oh, I have a good system going now. So I mean, I even reminisce too, like when I first posted on social media, I was clunky. I'd never heard of a teleprompter, so I actually printed out lines,
Yeah.
and I could only memorize like 2 sentences as one, and I had to like chop and break, and it took forever. And then I discovered, hey, a teleprompter.
The crazy thing is, I still
Yeah.
know, and everyone always thinks like, Alex, you must have lines. All my videos I ever do, other than this, we have a bit of a script. I don't ever have a script. It's just I do it. I may mess something up, so I re-record it. And the cool thing about social media is you can make a clip, delete it, make a clip, redo it. Like, so if you mess up, if I have it as a script, I just doesn't flow for me. I gotta just talk.
Yeah, so we're gonna bring everyone back to how we first started. Both Alex and I started social media because of the rise of COVID, right? The rise of TikTok happened, and people were using TikTok for dance videos. The whole dance trends. And you know what? I've been guilty and done a few myself.
I don't know if I ever did a dance trend, but I definitely I liked it. I liked it. The thing I liked about it was like the humor and stuff. And again, I still find you do the humor ones, and which I kind of miss, and maybe I need to bring it back, of like adding a humor joke to mortgages.
Yeah.
It just makes it a more personal connection of like, hey, like we're here for business, but like we're also human beings. Like let's all have some fun.
Yeah, exactly. And slowly, TikTok morphed into a place where it was used for business. Real estates was using it. Financial planners were using it, and then mortgage brokers started using it, and you and I were starting.
But I mean, like it's pretty crazy. If you went back when we did it, I would say across Canada, there would maybe be 50 people, like maximum 50 people that were actually doing it. Now there's thousands upon thousands. Everyone is doing it. I can tell when other mortgage brokers follow, I'll get like a mass hit of like a bunch of mortgage brokers. And again, I used to follow people. Like copying I do not think it's a bad thing. It's a form of flattery. And again, I'm not worried about copying something that me and you do, because like you're never going to have the same thing me and you do. But that's where, again, I don't think we post as much on TikTok anymore. It's very, very oversaturated, I find now. And that's where like the podcast just we can actually connect to people on a personal level. They get to know me and you. We get to know other people when they send us stuff and everything. It's just, way nicer.
What we found, I think both of us found over the years, was that our viewership doing the same videos was going down. Things weren't going as viral as they used to, and maybe people were starting to get a little TikTok fatigue, Instagram fatigue, because in order to get people's attention, it had to be like a quick,
and it just had to be negative. It just had to be
negative or salesy, right? Like, oh, hey, and oftentimes it's one of those like bait and switch kind of things where like, hey, you're just trying to put them into your funnel and all that stuff, and so there wasn't much substance behind it, and both of us arrived. So Alex and I, we've met through TikTok, and then you came into town,
met up in person,
stayed in touch.
We met twice. I think we've met twice before we even started doing this.
Yeah, so we stayed in touch. I wanted to start my own podcast at that moment. I was like, okay, you know what, business was down, but how do I reinvent myself? How do I make sure I stay in the game and, for the next, decade or so. And I found that like, hey, we talk about the same things all the time with clients. Where are rates going? How's the economy doing? Blah, blah, blah. Fixed or variable, blah, 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 blah. We have the same form of conversation or repeatedly, multiple times a day. So what started out as a lazy thing, we're like, hey, let's just be more efficient and just record it. And I'm just speaking for myself that I didn't want to be a single host.
Oh yeah, I would never. Right? It's again, you could maybe make like a 10-minute show, talk about stuff, but like it is hard. Like again, that's why I even find with social media, it's easy to pull on like quick things and like make headlines of like, oh, this is how you could save 500,000. Now that strategy doesn't always work for every person, but it pulls in a lot of people. Where this is like us connecting back and forth. We don't always agree on things. Doesn't mean like we're not both in the same way. And that's where it's so much nicer. And yeah, I would never be able to do this by myself. Wouldn't work for myself.
Yeah. So funny story was when I reached out to Alex, he was not my first choice.
That's not, I mean, damn.
I actually talked to another fellow, and he was kind of lukewarm about it, and he wanted to sit on it for a little bit. And then over time, I'm like, I wanted someone who's just as passionate as I was. I didn't want to have to drag somebody along to do something. And this could be about relationship stuff too, like when the husband and wife stuff. Don't drag your partner out. Like you need to be on the same page. So I
think we talked that you were like, oh, I'm thinking of doing a podcast. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go more in on YouTube is kind of where I was thinking, which again could be more of like a one-on-one of like talking to the camera like this, saying, hey, these are different strategies. This is what's going on. A 10 to 15 minute video like that would have been possible, but like an hour long thing, I never would be able to talk about stuff for an hour by myself. And that's where you like talk about the podcast. I'm like, oh, I think that's a good idea. But yeah, you were trying to court somebody else, and then I came to the kid was the second person.
But funny, when I was talking to Alex on the phone, I said, okay, I have to make sure I release the first person. I'm starting to get this feeling that, you know what, I don't want to drag. If I had to drag him in, I'm gonna have to drag him week after week after week, and then like that's not what I want. I want someone who's just as passionate as I am. We're partners in this, and I was talking to Alex about this over the phone. He's like just as excited. I want to do a podcast too, but at the same time, I don't want to do it by myself. I want to have banter. I want to have a conversation. I want to have a coffee talk. Like I listen to a lot of sports podcasts where there's two guys just kind of yammering about and just having different opinions. As soon as Alex said yes, I'm like, oh, let's do this. And then
I think with what it was probably like within a week, for one, you had someone that already connected us, our very first producer before, did all of our branding for us, got everything set up. I mean, I think we were maybe 2 weeks. I think we were up and running in our first podcast episode live in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I think we wanted the timeline to start at the start of the school year for kids. It's September. Yeah. So that launched. We have some branding and things. Our producer stayed with us for just under a year, and then we have our current producer now, EJ, and brought our podcast to the next level. So it's it's amazing. I mean, what are things have you learned along the way in the last 2 years, Alex?
I mean, again, I would call you are my podcast wife. That is, it's again, I can't, this would not run without Alex. I mean, we'll see in 2 weeks.
I did not pay him. Okay. All right. I did not pay him.
We'll see. Again, it's so funny. Every person's organized in different ways in life. Alex is very organized for this stuff and having everything done. I'm like, hey, put it in front of me and I'll do it. I'll do it to 110%, but like my life is busier. I got younger kids than Alex and everything. So we are in different spots, but that's why we work so well together. It's like, hey, I'm here to bring other stuff to it, but it's interesting seeing. And I mean, even going to Victoria or Vancouver, you've helped me with other things, ordering our hats and everything. That's where it's in. I mean, I got a bunch of people like, where's my hat? Where's my hat? I'm like, oh shit, we got to order some more hats.
Yeah. Like the funny how you say it, your podcast work wife. My wife would not like to hear that because my personal life, she does the organizing. I do nothing. And I'm like, you take care of it. And so she's,
and I mean, it's actually, and this is not a sponsor, but I'm reading a book, and this is for me and my wife. We want to read together. It's females take on way more stuff than we realize. Like it's just in their back of their heads of like, and I'd say even you, like you stress over like, oh, what's the camera angle? Where I'm like, I don't care, like whatever. And like every person has a different stress, and it's called, the book's called Fair Play. And it's making a game to make sure like one person's not taking that fair share, always having it. Cause again, the wife may be doing everything and like there's resentment there that you don't even realize it because they don't want to vocalize it, but they're like, I have to remember every birthday card, all the groceries and stuff. And so it's, wife are great, but I want to help her even more. And that's where I'm trying to help understand like those finer details that to us just go by. Like, I don't know, when's the birthday? I don't know. We'll get a birthday present on the day of.
Well, Alex is coming clean now. He's giving me carte blanche to actually, share my resentments.
Exactly. Well, that's you gotta be careful with your wife.
Alex, please reply. We need to do something. And then, we've had to like, I didn't want to make executive decision on things. Obviously we're partners. I wanted to chime in, but he took way too long to reply. I'm like, you know what? I think you and I are on the same page.
Exactly.
I'm just going to go ahead and do this.
There's pretty much nothing that I wouldn't, unless you're like, Alex, I'm going to do this. We're going to, but yeah.
It's going to cost us like, $1,000. I'm like, no.
No, and that's, I'm not worried that way. That's why I'm like, you're already going to take care of it. And that's where, you run it and everything. And I mean, there's been some amazing guests that we've had on. And I mean, especially in the last little bit, Heather there that we had on, like that was just amazing. Learning more there. It's doing this podcast has also grown my hunger for information. I always thought like I was not someone in high school. I did not do good in school. It never drove me. I was never excited about it. I didn't want to do research, where everything on here, if I don't understand something and someone talks about, like, I'm going to go figure it out. And so it's that knowledge, and we're again just going to keep yours in my brain fresh forever.
Yeah. I find now that I scroll TikTok X all the time, not for personal, just for content, because agenda stuff. So we can talk about, like, we put it on because if we find it important, I think that most Canadians would find it important. Like, why the hell should you care about, all this, we shit on the government all the time about why is $130 million going to Ghana? Like, foreign aid's great, but you need to have some sort of accountability of what's it actually doing, versus we know it's like either lining corrupt officials' pockets or another form of money laundering, stuff like that. I mean, personally for me, the first year was basically us finding our voice. Like, I think we were really good at not just reporting news. We were really good at giving color, giving our own opinion. We didn't always agree on certain things. Alex is more conservative about rates, and I'm like, no, man, gotta go bull, gotta
go lower.
Yeah, gotta go lower. And we have other industry colleagues that we listen to and stuff. So sometimes,
and again, that's what the feedback I get from other people is that, hey, like, yes, we are taking the news that's already out there, but we are giving, for one, our information, and that, for one, doesn't mean I'm right. No. Doesn't mean Alex is right. No. But we're giving everything so each person can take a take from it. And that's where, again, you listen to this, still do your own due diligence as well. Of course, don't be like, hey, Alex Pang says rates are going down and do that. But it's, again, you're getting both sides of the story. And that's what I love, where I find news channels are now just either full negative or full good. Like, there is no in between.
Yeah. I find, like, looking back at the last 100 episodes, I would say our first 50 episodes is kind of where we really kind of established who we were. I have to give all credit to our beginning partners who are our own circle of influences who came on the show. Hey, love you guys. But the second 50 episodes, we were able to be like, okay, let's try to dance with the big boys. And our first big guest, Brad West.
Oh yeah, about Brad West. Yeah, we got Brad West there and everything.
It was amazing to bring him on. David Chilton was amazing. Even Steve Crash from Surrey YouTube fame. We didn't even seek him. He sought us, and we're like, who's this snake oil salesman coming to us? I'm like, who the hell is this? Like, should I suss this out? Right?
That's so funny. And again, that's how we're so, like, if someone messaged me, I'd be like, oh man, this guy wants to help me. Like, that's, and you were like, oh, what is this person trying to do? But that's, I mean, it's, again, look at that. We learned from other people. And that's where I would say, even if people wanted to start social media, we talk about this, social media is bad. I full-heartedly believe it is probably one of the worst things out there if used incorrectly. It's a great way to connect with people and grow that way. And again, we learn, and we've connected so many people because of it.
Yeah. When I look back to things that we talked about, a lot of it has come to fruition, where when we started in 2024, rates were still pretty high then. It was like, I don't know, 6%, something like that.
I think like 5, 8, 9 or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. It was already at the peak rates. Like, I had some rental ones at 6.32, and I was like, oh my goodness, just take a 3-year fixed, live to fight another day, kick the can down the road.
Today alone, I talked to 3 people, and they told me the rates, and it was at 6%. And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, oh yeah, our mortgage is coming up for renewal in 8 months. And I'm like, how has no one reached out to you to say, hey, a year ago, you should have been breaking that thing? And this is where, again, for one, some of these were from banks. Obviously, the banks aren't going to call you. Some of these were from brokers. And again, there's good brokers, there's bad brokers, there's people that don't look at their database. They just do a mortgage and they're like, oh, I'm done. And I'm just like, oh my God, like that. I did the math, and I didn't tell the person because I didn't want them to see it, but over a year and a half, that cost them an extra $28,000. That's just gone. Money they'll never get again.
And you know what's funny thing that we didn't even suss out when we're talking about this, telling people like, hey, if there's a spread of at the time it was like 0.75, it was at least worth looking
Yeah.
into. And I just know for myself, it gave me a reminder to look at my database.
Oh yeah.
And even though it was a pretty slow year from a real estate standpoint last year, I had a bounce back year last year. 23 and 24 were tough years for
Yeah.
me. Like I have to admit, like that was a struggle. But last year was a bounce back year because of us talking about these kind of things, us staying in tune in the market, seeing what other people are doing and be like, oh, we should probably do that. And it did require work. It wasn't one of those things where easy buy transactions,
Yeah.
right? It was one of those things where we mined our own database and looked at opportunities, and we had to do the homework before we contacted the
Oh
client
yeah, exactly.
because there's no point contacting the client if the value isn't
Yeah.
there. If you can't save them at least, even $3,000 or $5,000. Um, yeah, I'd say a good chunk of my business last year was
Just
refinancing
yeah.
because um, rates came down faster than we thought. We
Yeah.
knew it was going to come down, but I'm like, oh, shoot, 18 months in or 12 months in, it's dropped back down from 6 to
Yeah.
4.5 or
Yeah.
something like that.
And what's funny, I mean, we went to 3.89, 3.79 for 3-year fixed, and now we're back up, and bonds are going up right now. I mean, you got Donald Trump doing more crazy things, and now it's like, again, are we in the spot of, well, our fixed rate's going to go up, and should you be looking at, this is one for people to think about. It's, again, hey, you might have a 2.5% rate today, and you got it for 6 more months. Like, I want to hold on to that thing. But hey, if you could make a 4.14 on your rate today for the next 3 years, or if you wait and rate for 4.7 for the next 3 years, you want to get rid of that 2.5% faster than you think. Yes, you're at that for 6 months, but you're going to be at that higher rate for 3 years. And that's where, again, it's, people don't, they see a low number, but they don't actually understand, like, it extrapolated. Like, oh, what's this actual savings to me?
Yeah, I find that we work with banks, other institutions. They're great, not trying to slag all of you, but some are lazy. Some say, "Oh, don't do it," because you know what? They know that you're going to leave. But if you have a good mortgage broker on your side, they'll do the work for you, and they'll see
And
the
that's,
value
and I
there for
mean, this
you.
is a strategy for people, their banks or the mortgage brokers. Go and get a rate hold right now for 3 months. Put that in so you know that, hey, I'm guaranteed that rate for the next 3 months. And if rates go down, amazing, I don't need to take it. Or hey, if rates going up, awesome. You be like, hey, I may pay a small penalty to do this, but again, over 3 years, you might be saving money. And that's
Yeah.
just like a one small strategy, and it works really good with some lenders because you can renew 6 months early as well at no cost. And so again, it's helping people, and we may, like me and you, we may not make money from it. Maybe we're just coaching them to go back to their current lender, but like that is, to me, that's our job. Like, that is our fiduciary duty.
Yeah, something I've learned even over the last 100 episodes too, where I used to be like, you know what, if I'm not going to make money on this, I'm just like, you know what, just whatever. But I'm actually walking with them instead of losing the deal, but you're winning the client. That's the strategy. This is more of an industry talk here. But because of that, we've gained a lot of social street cred, like so to say, right? And if you don't win the deal, you're like, hey, can you please follow us on Spotify, YouTube, and be on our database or something like that. Please refer us to someone else, right? Keep us in mind. I mean, if you look at the last 100 episodes, were there any things that we got wrong in our predictions at all, or did
I
everything
mean,
kind
not
of play out?
predictions, not wrong. The way that I pronounce things, those definitely, that definitely went wrong quite a few
Oligopoly
times.
is
Yeah.
Alex's
I
favorite
mean,
word.
I would love to. I'm excited for. Are we going to do it at Christmas time? Or are we doing it at 2 years for like the blooper reel? And I mean, that's where I'm excited for us to pull some of those out of just, again, stuff that we say that way. Predictions. I mean, I called that the government was going to buy rental units. Called that right away. We said that rates were going to come down. Then I also said at the start of this year, hey, I don't think rates are going to go much lower. And again, we've went up that way. Does it mean that Alex and I have a crystal ball? No. We're looking at the data, but we could have been completely wrong. And again, I find finally people are coming into tune with, hey, a lot of people got COVID wrong, where rates went down and went up dramatically. Everyone used to scream, like, everyone, mortgage brokers, they were putting us into variable rates. The banks, they were doing this to wrong us. It's like, no one had that crystal ball. Rates were going to stay low, and the spread was in some cases a 1.5 to 2%.
Yep.
And so it's like, hey, I remember the first time I did the math saying, hey, you could take a 3.2 fixed or your 1.5% variable. We can withstand 12 rate increases of 0.25. That's how much you can. If we do it every single time, you can withstand 12 of them. Well, that math worked great if it was at 0.25. As soon as we had the 0.25, half a percent, 1%, it's like, boom, all gone.
Yeah.
And again, no one knew that. And finally, I feel people are finally understanding that of like, hey, it was everyone across the world. It wasn't just like, hey, this was only Canada. This was the US. This was everywhere in the world that this went on. And again, if we all knew what was happening, I wouldn't be sitting here. I'd be a billionaire sitting on all my stocks that I bought and shorted.
Yeah, I remember that too. We were talking amongst our own industry group chats, um, talks that masterminds that like, geez, did we give the wrong advice? And like, you know, some brokers, some bankers who didn't have the thick skin, they just ignored clients
Exactly. Which is that
because
was wrong. To me,
yeah,
that's
because
like,
yeah. So you know what? Honestly, I did face the music when I was
yeah,
reaching out. There, I had to admit there was some hesitancy when I did my annual review calls and my touch bases. I'm like, oh shoot, man, you know, like
that's I remember for the
yeah,
first 6 months of that, it was just calling people on a weekly basis asking how you were doing.
yeah,
And again,
yeah,
did I enjoy that? Was that like fun for me? No, but
yeah,
like that's what people just needed is like, hey, this is what's going on. Do you have questions? Do you want to lock in? This is if you do lock in, like,
yeah,
and that's where especially the people that took like the static rate variables, pretty much all the big banks, is they thought that, hey, my payment's not going up. This is awesome. To then only find out that, hey, they're paying less to principal, all to interest. And that's where people, again, the brokers and banks weren't reaching out to their
yeah.
clients until they got forced to do it.
Yeah, the trigger rate, we all learned that. Honestly, I didn't pay attention to it because it was one of those pigs when pigs fly clauses that are like, oh,
It was
did
one that the banks never even, it was one that they've never even had to think about. And again, every bank treated a little bit different. RBC, hey, they made you pay it out. It's like, hey, you don't get to keep going. CIBC and TD, people still like
yeah,
when they come up for renewal, they're going to owe money.
yeah, it would be
What
negative
what
amortization.
they did was they just made it so you couldn't log into your account. That's what they said. Oh, hey, if you don't want to pay this down, you can't log into your bank account. And again, is that right? No. To me, it's like, well, do they understand the ramifications of this? Hey, what do they need to do? Because when their mortgage comes up for renewal, you got to bring the amortization back into, hey, if you started at 25 years, 5 years later, you got to be at 20 years now.
Yeah, there was quite the fear at the time, even when you know, like there were tough calls when I was, and I had to admit too, I said, hey, I'm gonna be full disclosure, this was the best decision that we had at the time. The math made sense based on historical trends, and with the honestly, government of Canada, they kind of lied to us. The Bank of
Yep.
Canada lied to us, and the rates were not going to stay low for a long time. It really only ended up being 2 years, and um, yeah,
And I
so
just, again, like, just because what I'm saying here is like Alex and I, yes, we were right on some things here. I just don't want people to be like, oh, we need to listen to everything we say. Again, you got to take everything with a fine tooth nail of research this stuff. The greatest thing about AI now is that you can research so much. It's not going to give you the right answer, but you can use it for research. You can be like, hey, this is what Alex and Alex are saying on the Canadian Mortgage Show. What do they say on the Looney Hour? Like, you can just extrapolate so much data together to help you really understand, like, oh, this is maybe this is why some person's leaning more to variable. Hey, they got to sell a home in a year. Hey, it's probably going to make a lot of sense to do that. Hey,
yeah,
you know what? You have no plans. Should you take a 3 year fixed again? The math right now, I tell people, if 2 years ago someone came to me and was like, hey, I want a 5 year fixed at 6%, I'd say, you're crazy. I'm not doing it. I had one client that I made them sign a form saying, hey, you understand the risk that you're taking. Rates are going to be coming down because the penalty, when I reached out and said, hey, your mortgage could be broken now, but this is what your penalty is. Like, oh, this is why we talked about this. Where again, today, our rate's going to go much lower. I don't know. Like, if someone wants to take a 5 year fix today, I can, if they're doing it for their own reasons, I can understand it. I always like to make it very clear to people that, as bankers and brokers, the way we get paid, the longer the term we're in, the more commission we make. So by us suggesting a 3 year fix, we make less money. It does not benefit us in any way. And so we always want the client to make that decision. I'll show them all the options, but like, they have to make that decision.
yeah, yeah. I remember having those conversations with clients that it was tough, but at the same time, I was feeling it too. My payment went up, and got to a point where shoot, like the math ain't mathing. Where like, hey, my income was dropping like 50%, and I'm sure we have a lot of hate in real estate. You guys are just a bunch of like leeches. Like, hey, we're trying to make a living. We're providing value. Yeah, and at the same time, like, hey, I was feeling it too. We went from two cars to one, so that was a lifestyle
Yep.
change too. It was one of those like I was consoling clients, and clients were consoling me too. They're like, you know what, this is not forever. We'll just pull up our socks. We just got to do what we got to do in the meantime. You know,
so yeah, it was just having those conversations, and that's where if you're not getting those touch points from your bank or a mortgage broker, like that's a problem. Like you should be getting that information.
Yeah, I'm glad I had those conversations, because you know what, rates came back down faster than we thought, and
a lot easier to then call them and say, hey, you know what? Where if you had never called them before, then be like, hey, the rates are coming down. They would say, Alex doesn't care about me.
Like, yeah, you didn't call me when times were tough.
Yeah.
I'm be like, you know what? Like, I'm glad that what we said, that yes, it's high. It's not high forever. It will come back down. And we thought it might take 2 or 3 years. It was a year and a half. Hey guys, Alex Pang here, your favorite Canadian Mortgage Show co-host. You've heard us talk about all things mortgages, but if you have questions about your own mortgage, or you're thinking about buying, refinancing, or renewing, send us an email at info@canadianmortgageshow.com. We're always happy to help. That's info@canadianmortgageshow.com. Now, back to the show. We sent out a call for feedback, comments, and questions. And, you know, thank for some of you who've replied there. I'm just going to read these out, and we'll respond here. So Saeed from Surrey, thanks, Saeed. You know who you are. We're buddies. I see you, you know, probably every week or every other week. He says here, my favorite episode was episode 94. And that was, so now episode 94, it was the Canada-Qatar game, and Mark Carney announced the BC bailout. Okay. I don't know if it's that episode or the week after, where we had time to dive into it.
Even that we kind of were wrong. Like we talked about, like, oh, and again, like the way that the government's doing it's I don't think it's smart, but it's not as bad as we actually said it was. They weren't bailing everyone out. And again, everyone jumped on that news of like, oh, they're just bailing all the ones. And after we talked with Brendan Omlinson, it's like, the developers don't even want this. Like, this is not even something that they were talking about. Again, the government does these things without even communicating with people. They're just like, oh, we're going to fix this to make people happy. And it's like, this doesn't help anyone.
Yeah, exactly. So Saeed says, you both had great points and saw it for what it really was. So thanks, Saeed, for that. His next question is there any hope for future generations? My son is 20 years old and working. Will there ever be a $500,000 to $600,000 single detached home in Vancouver, Lower Mainland for him ever?
What's the definition of Lower Mainland? Can you go out to like Hope? Does that count as Lower Mainland?
Yeah, that doesn't count as Lower Mainland. That's like Fraser Valley.
Yeah. No, it's sad. I was lucky enough to buy my first place when I was 19, a townhouse for $200,000. That same townhouse is now $650,000. Do I believe that's fair? No, I honestly don't. I think the prices, and I'm fine with prices staying flat. Again, do I benefit from that? No, I own real estate. Does it? But I would like the younger generation to be able to actually buy a home. Their only option is either we need to inflate their incomes crazily high, or home prices need to drop. And could they drop more in Vancouver? Yes, but like not to that level. Like it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I think because I live in the same area as Saeed, I'll kind of answer this one. So the last time a single detached was $500,000 to $600,000, that was about 20 years ago. That was like 2003, 2004, because we bought our first pre-sale condo, 855 square feet, 1 bed and den, 255. We thought it was expensive at the time because our friends bought earlier, their condo 180, and you know they thought it was expensive because their friends are like 150, and they're on. A townhouse at the time was 350.
Right.
A detached was 500. That was 20 years ago, and we are far removed from that. So that same house, entry-level house, is probably 1.5 single detached in the Lower Mainland, even Fraser Valley, parts of Fraser Valley. I'm talking about like Surrey, Langley. So for that same home, to go back to 2004, it would probably have to be financial Armageddon, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, the apocalypse were to happen.
I mean, I would even again, we're
not built like the States where, we're largely tied to real estate. I don't think that system works in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, the government, we can even talk about the condo bailout in a sense, like they're not going to let it happen. The boomers, their value is all in real estate and everything that way. There's going to be wealth transferring there, and so yeah, I would love to say that would be amazing, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So I mean, a single detached homes have already dropped across the board since the peak. So the drops happen more in like, especially specifically we're talking about lower mainland. Um, it's outside the downtown core that has seen the most increase, but it's also seen the most drops.
Yep.
So we're talking about like Surrey, Langley, Abbotsford, Chilliwack, all the more of the outskirts from downtown.
Yeah, I think the Fraser Valley's seen the worst. Like again, but again, they saw places going 400,000 over asking, 500,000 over asking.
Yeah.
Where like, I think if you actually looked at downtown Vancouver, it's been pretty much flat since like 2019. There was a bit of an increase, but like not substantial drops.
So Saeed, I'm sorry to say, for prices to drop 2/3 of what it is now, probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
So
no.
I mean,
Yeah, you can move to Alberta. You can move again, even on the island. You go up to Campbell River, and you can get a $600,000 home. You can even get it with a suite potentially.
Yep.
And again, about those numbers, our island is only going up, and so it's hard to say. Well, could they wait till they're 25, 30? Well, what's the price point going to be?
Yeah.
Now the hardest thing is their family live there, their jobs are over there, and that's the sad thing here.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean,
now, if we make the high-speed rail, Alex, and they can travel out to Hope and past there, that's when homes out there will be worth 500,000. You get to downtown Vancouver in 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. We even had a conversation today with my kids about even like expanding Highway 1. It only goes to 3 lanes each way to like parts of Abbotsford and not even to Chilliwack. I'm like, it needs to go to Chilliwack, but you know what? There needs to be enough demand there for that to happen. I mean, how long did it take for us to have the Surrey Langley SkyTrain extension? Initially it was supposed to be an LRT, and we're like, no, hell no, like we want a SkyTrain. And that took what, 20 years maybe?
I think we're so far behind our infrastructure, like where everything is delayed. It's like, hey, maybe our prices, if we would have built some of these things faster, maybe prices wouldn't have gone up so high. But we add the supply, the demand, and then it becomes an issue.
So I mean, like I said before, Saeed, I mean, prices have come down, and I'm just speaking for myself. I think prices probably may drop a little bit more between now and next year. It might stop at around the spring, and it might be flat for the next couple of years. I mean, that same 1.5, I can see it going down to like 1.45, 1.4 in a year, but it'll probably stay at that 1.4 or 1.45 for a while before it goes back up eventually. So yeah, I'm afraid your son here will probably not start with this forever home. He'll probably have to start with a condo, or have help from you, Saeed, to help him either co-sign or a gift account payment, or even better,
Buy together.
Buy with a partner, dual income, right? And then start.
But even that, like I mean, and again, like I would say, like the people you got the Asian culture, the Indian, like they all buy homes together and they live. They got the grandparents in one part of the home, they got the parents other one. They have the upper portion. Like I don't think that's a bad thing. Again, I'm sorry, mom and dad, I probably can't live with you guys that way. But I think it is something that our culture is really in Canada is bad at. Our whole goal is just to get away from our parents. Like that seems to be all we focus on, where other cultures, like, how do we bring that better?
I think for us, we were like that when we were young because we wanted our freedom. We wanted to get away from our parents. But as soon as we got married and we started having kids, we're like, oh, we need my parents' help. So let's come back.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, and I think our parents now, the boomers, they're now realizing that their kids who are like, hey, average first time buyer in Ontario is 40. And I'm sure it's pretty close in Vancouver as well.
Yeah.
In order for kids to even afford, it's the down payment, right? You can't save.
You can't save 200,000.
Right? Yeah. You can't save even 5%, 10%, 20%. I think our parents are realizing now that the kids are going to need help to get early inheritances sooner because not wait till they die, because by the time they pass, they're already 50, 60, and they've
never even got to enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think a lot of our parents and grandparents are realizing that now. So I know it's a sad state of affairs, but our economy and our life, life dynamics, life goals, or how things work has changed. Like it can't be in a case anymore where one person works a job and then the spouse stays at home and raises a kid, and you have a house like The Simpsons or Family Guy or whatever. Gone are those days, especially in in the main cities like Vancouver and Toronto. Okay, so we move on here. Here's a fellow who I actually met with over online, Darcy from Parksville. His comment here, he said, "One thing I realize I always engage with on the show is the stories of clients where you solve the problem. Yesterday, you mentioned how a lot of people are refinancing to consolidate debt from the last few years of inflation. I think I mentioned that. Storytelling about a current or older situation can help engage the audience as well as drive home a point you intend to make later in the show." Yeah. So I guess that's feedback. Thank you, Darcy. I think we should have more case studies.
I know. I think I'm bad. I feel like sometimes I don't want to do it because I don't want to be salesy. That's honestly my biggest fear with this is like, I never want to talk about stuff. I don't want it to be like, hey, we want people to bring us business. And I think I struggle with that more just internally. And again, we don't do it because we want business, but it's, I never want to sound salesy.
Okay. Alex is saying that for himself. I want business. Okay. So you come to me. Okay. But of course we want to educate and all that stuff. And you know what? I think we talk about wins or difficult cases and not always talk about new stuff.
I mean, the hardest thing we were talked about doing that, but then it's like the news in the summer started blowing up again. And we're like, oh shit, we had made a bunch of case studies and we never had time to do them.
Yeah, exactly. This whole, Iran war erupted and, the thing that the World Cup happened in our backyard, and Donald Trump was Donald Trump, and then now we'll talk about it next week with the FIFA president. Things happening, but yeah. Here's another thing that Darcy mentioned here. Oh, and Darcy is he's going to write his license to be a mortgage broker soon. So he talked to me about that, and it was good connecting with Darcy. And again, Darcy, thanks for tuning into our pod here. A topic I find interesting and would like to learn more strategy about is leveraging equity to purchase investment, i.e. rental properties. Maybe an interview with a mildly successful real estate investor that is relatable to the audience. Discuss the market, numbers required for most lenders to be a viable investment, and ways to mitigate risks. And we were
talking about this, and the hard thing that me and Alex both kind of focus on, we're like, we like real estate, but we probably shit on it more than we actually say oh, you should go do this. Like, we probably tell people more right now, that probably doesn't make sense to go buy that condo. It's over on the island. There is some more opportunity, but hardest thing is we got to find someone that's an investor today. It's super easy to go back 10 years to be like, you bought 10 properties and hey, you're wealthy now, because again, they made appreciation. The cash flows are better now. And so that one where I get hard, again, you go on YouTube and you see all these people just buy rental properties, you'll be rich. It's like, well, it doesn't work in today's age. It's not how the numbers work here. What I really like seeing people do right now, and I'm getting lots, is like, hey, they might be living in Vancouver, Victoria. And they're like, hey, I'm going to go buy in Saskatchewan. I'm going to go buy in Alberta. That is, again, where you can buy it and you're more going for cash flow. But hey, you get to own another asset somewhere else. Maybe you only have $80K for a down payment. You're not going to buy a rental property here on the island, even with that. And so I think it would be worth it to talk about it. I think Alex and I just have to take our blinders off of hey, real estate is good. It's just we're not salesy on it. It can make sense to own an investment property, but it's not what it used to be.
Yeah. I think because the first 100 episodes happened in the last 2 years, it just so happens that real estate wasn't sexy anymore in terms of investment. It wasn't no longer seen as a get rich quick money, buy a pre-sale.
I don't think it ever should have been that's again, you're buying a property, it doesn't have a suite, maybe you're then building a suite, now the value is there. That's where, and again, I have lots of clients that are doing that, and so we probably should talk about that.
Well, and the funny thing is, the last 15 years, real estate was the sexy thing. It was a viable investment alternative because people were disillusioned about returns on the financial markets, right? Mm-hmm. Their portfolios going up and down, and real estate was always seen as a long-term wealth generation. Yeah. And then along the way, we have these real estate gurus, these marketing seminars, all these courses, home and garden, talking about fix and flip, the BRRRR method, and which means buy, repair, renovate, refinance, rent out again, something like that, the BRRRR method, right? And when our pod started, that's when the crash already happened. Everything that real estate stood for just came crashing down, with the whole backdrop of thinking that real estate was always going to go up. Your property would be negative cash flow, but that's okay. It would always go up. But when that was taken out of the equation, it was like, oh,
And again, it's still like
it's
it
not so
works in the
great
right
anymore.
area. And again, like I have one, the clients are buying in the Shawnigan Lake area, and they're going to fix up a lower suite. They're going to be cash flow positive $1,300, and it's going to cost them $100K for a down payment. They'll never be able to make that money in the stock market.
Yeah.
And again, that's where I have other clients that want to buy a condo downtown. I'm like, doesn't make sense. Just go invest that 300,000. You're going to make more money on that. And that's where, again, you want someone. I think that's where you and I need to come and show people, hey, this type of thing does look sense. This is where you could make money. Hey, or should you invest your money? Because again, there is no perfect method. People have made money from real estate. People have made money from investing. You have to do what you like to actually do, and you have to do it consistency.
Yeah, do what you like and do what you know, right? They say diversify, but also, yeah, educate yourself to what you want to invest in. And like a segue to that too is I'm going to be going away in September. So Alex is actually a real estate investor, but might be able to bring in a guest and talk.
Oh yeah,
about
and I think that's the one that I think I probably will do, because then I can share people. And again, I think most of the time I get a lot of people like, and it's the older generation, I want to buy real estate. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Like the math just doesn't.
Unless you live in it.
Again, unless you're younger and you have a longer time horizon, okay, is there a better chance of appreciation? And so again, we can open the curtains on that. It's again, we're definitely not going to be gurus of like buy real estate, because again, we look at the math all day. And if I didn't actually tell people like, hey, you're negative cash flow $500, a lot of people don't do that. They just say, oh yeah, you can buy the investment property. They don't even sit with them and show them the numbers. Hey, what about your property taxes? What about your insurance? They just show them, hey, this is your mortgage payment. This is your rent. And you're like, oh my God, they're going to make money. And then you're like, oh shit, I actually forgot about all the other stuff.
Yeah. And both of us are real estate investors. Like I currently don't have one, but I've experienced in the past, the rental market's softer now. So that rent that you have down, it may take you 2 or 3 months to find that rental, and you might have to drop it a couple $100. You haven't figured that into the equation. So, yeah, right now, I mean, in the main major cities, it's not the best to do investment. It's the mom and pop investor essentially kind of disappeared for now, for the time being. All right, so we're running a little short, but we're going to have a longer show today. Here's our final one. I gave him a shout out before. Do you remember the natural bodybuilder, Toshi?
Yeah.
So Toshi and his mom, Susan from Surrey, they've been longtime listeners. When I see them every week, Toshi says, oh, Mom, and I have to give a shout out to Susan. Mom is a retired massage therapist, but she's legally blind.
Okay.
So she listens as well. So she asked Toshi, like, hey, when's Alex's next podcast? And so they listen. So thank you guys. Thank you, Toshi and Susan, for being loyal listeners, followers. We really appreciate it. Now, Toshi and Susan's questions are laneway homes allowed to be built in Surrey? So maybe you should read this so I can answer.
Totally. That's, I mean, I'll give a little bit of stuff on, I know in like the Vancouver area right now, oh my God. I have some friends that are dealing with, they had suites and everything. It was built in the 1930s. There wasn't permits. Like Vancouver, it is like, I mean, it is bad right now. Like they're getting fined and everything. It's like it was a rental before we bought it. Like, what do you mean we can't rent it anymore? Oh, well, you got to do all the brand new electrical. And it's, again, on the island, if something was built before like the district was open, your grandfathered it. You don't have to re-get it all permitted. Vancouver is now making them permit stuff. And it's like, what do you mean? This thing was built in the 30s. It was fine back then. Why are they now making it? And so people in Vancouver, they're not wanting to build laneway homes. The cost of it is just too high. But I'd be interested to know what you mean for Surrey. Are you allowed to actually build them?
Yes, you are. Because I mean, it's part of the BC mandate of upzoning every single family lot. As long as it has a rear lane access, you are allowed to build it. Sorry, right now you can do single detached and residential duplex lots. The maximum is about 750 to 900 square feet.
Now, do you have like a square, like, so where we are in the backyard here, in Cumberland, you're allowed to have a laneway, but you can't, your yard space cannot take up more than 50% of the total square footage. So like I have a shed at my house, I put a laneway, it's going to be eating up more than 50% of it. And so like, yes, I'd be allowed a 956 square foot, but you have to also bring it down to your square footage. Do they have anything like that?
Yeah, there's more detail. Like Toshi, you're probably gonna have to look at the City of Surrey website. there's details about how much ingress you need to be away from there. It needs to be a meter away or whatever. And then there needs to be, I'm not sure if it needs to have a dedicated parking for that like a parking pad for the laneway house. That's
yeah. And again, I'll say this, like we were meant to, when we built our house in 2017, we built it, and then we were going to build like a carriage house, like a laneway with a garage and everything. Our cost back then was going to be like $190 to do it. Then 2020 COVID hit. It was going to be like $250. I looked at doing a modular. It was going to be like $240. I'm like, it's too expensive. That same thing costs $350 now, minimum. And like, I can't make the math worth to pay that off in a 30-year time horizon. I'd rather just use the $300,000 to invest somewhere. And again, the value of the home, I don't know if it's going to increase instantly by $350. And that's where it's, again, now I'm guessing, I don't know, for Toshi and Susan is like, they're doing it to bring family. That's where it's, again, hey, should you be building a laneway house so that you can support your family? They can be part of it. Maybe they're selling a home and they're going to do it. I think I focus too much more on returns all the time. I'm like, is this actually analytically going to make sense? Where sometimes it's just like, hey, we're doing this so we can help our family. Maybe they're going to let their kids move in there and stuff.
Last time I checked, especially the cost of lumber has gone up, and I know it's come back down. The last time I checked, the cost to build a laneway house is like $500,000 to $600,000.
And that's, again, I'm talking on the island here, so like Vancouver, it's definitely higher there. That way.
So, geez, like I had a client who built a laneway, and he's in the west side, and
I mean, like, let's just quickly say, hey, if you had a mortgage, and let's say you did mortgage of it of $500,000 today, your monthly cost on that's going to be what? I'll go 500. So a monthly mortgage on that is 30. Like, let's call it no, that's a little bit high there. I would say it's going to be $2,500. And so, hey,
what if you have a mortgage on the previous, like your main house?
I'm just talking about the 500 for the new place, just to show it. So, hey, depending on what size, but you're probably only going to get $2,600 for rent on that. So it's just servicing itself. It's not even, hey, maybe if you could build it for $200K and it could be cash flow positive. But like Alex said, what about the other debt?
Yeah, my client who built the laneway house, it was for his mom to live there, because they want mom to be close, but not in the same house. Close, but not but far away.
Maybe someone, especially in the Vancouver area, maybe they're selling a home, selling for $1.5 to $2 million. They've had it, it's debt free. Okay, hey, take $500K of it, build a laneway, live with your family. That starts to make sense. But I don't think it's like, again, if we talked about investing, I don't think it's a way to benefit. In Australia, a lot of people, what they do is they buy a house and they build like granny flats, and that you can do for like $100K. They then get to rent that out. It's funny. Australia does all their rent is all weekly. You pay rent weekly. It's like, it's $400 a week. And that's where like value can be added. Ours, like, you're just not going to be able to get enough rent for that return.
Yeah. Right now, it doesn't make sense. The math ain't mathin'. Now, Toshi and Susan did have a follow-up question. Laneway homes have their own address. Does that mean there's separate property tax on that laneway home? And can it also be sold as a separate property from the principal detached home? So, I mean, I live in Surrey, so I can speak on this. No, there's actually no separate property tax. It's actually legally, it's deemed as part of the main house, even though it does have a separate address. And you can sparse it out so you can have separate utilities with BC Hydro and Fortis.
Same what we have here in that way.
But yes, from the municipal standpoint, there's no separate property tax. It cannot be sold off as separately because it's part of the main house. However, now I'm talking about Surrey. However, there are parts of Vancouver where I've seen some people have stratified their laneway home, and they were able to sell them off separately.
Totally. Yep.
So I don't know if Surrey has gotten like.
Well, again, that's if you talk about the multifamily, like in our area, like it's a lot harder to stratify places, where in Victoria, hey, you can make a 4-plex, a 6-plex super easy, and you're stratifying it and then selling it off that way. And again, it's just trying to figure out, it's the land cost. The land cost of things are too high that it's like, hey, if I have to buy this land for $1 million and then build it, the math just doesn't work. You probably make more money just selling the land.
Yeah, I'd say right now, just from a political standpoint, it would probably be easier to stratify a detached home, like the way Toshi's asking, and selling off the laneway in Vancouver, because people are leaving Vancouver.
And that's why they do allow it in Victoria.
The old money isn't leaving. The boomers they're living longer, and they're just not. That's why even elementary schools and high schools are closing,
exactly.
right? And whereas the appetite might not be there in Surrey quite yet, because the landmass wise, Surrey is quite big, and we're not at that critical mass point yet. So thank you, Toshi and Susan. We got to wrap this up pretty soon, but hey, let's look forward to the next 100 episodes or the next 50 episodes. Like, where do you see us going in the next 100 episodes?
I mean, I think I feel like you're better at, like, for one, I would say promoting the podcast. I'm pretty, I just go through life, and I think we should probably promote it more. Again, we're doing it to help other people, and so I think we should spend some more time, and I actually should be telling people. And again, I'm better at now telling people, like, hey, and they're like, oh, what, you have a podcast? I'm like, oh yeah, here you go, listen to this. Like, I send that out now and said, like, hey, if you want to hear updates, here you go, listen to this and everything.
Yeah, and from a back stories thing, I was, trying to convince Alex, like, this is what I'm doing. I'm sending out a weekly email to promote the episode, and I'm like, you need to get your contact list so we can have a group one, and I'll do it once a week. So Alex was finally able to do that, and like, we're trying to up our game even on YouTube as well to have more content. So we're trying to get our numbers up so we can get into that threshold where we can monetize the pod.
This is getting, again, it's thinking about this, and I was listening to Alex Hormozi was talking about, he has this really cool show going out right now of, like, scale or fail, and he has like 10 different business owners. And this girl, she is a business owner, and she helps people with, like, ADHD, autism. She's not in it for the money. She makes a lot of money elsewhere. And it's hard. Again, I think we all, and I get scared. I never want people to think I'm here for the money. I'm here to help people and stuff, but also to be able to help people, there has to be money that comes in. Again, Alex and I can keep doing it, this thing, but if we actually want to help more people, we do have to bring money in or make more money. And that's where it's, again, it's going to benefit. Hey, maybe 1% pays us for stuff, 99% is going to get for it. That's where I have to wrap my head around it better, of like, hey, we're doing this to help 99% of other people. 1% may pay us for stuff, but, like, we get to help so many other people, where we kept this knowledge hidden, only talk to the people that did mortgages with us, we're not benefiting anyone.
I really feel like the things have allowed us to have more conversations, and all of a sudden opened up opportunities. Like, I never thought in my wildest dreams that I'd be a podcaster. Bringing Brad West, bringing David Chilton, and Heather Exner-Perot, and even Brendan Ogmanson, and all those people. I hope to bring in more guests. Like,
it's funny,
me being the person that reaches out to everybody.
I never even told you this. I got a message from someone, and it was a big mortgage broker, and it was their assistant. Like, hey, you should have this person on. They're top of the industry. They do this, and I'm like, where do you see a benefit? How does this benefit?
You're trying to promote the other broker or something.
Again, I don't even. It was so funny the way, and obviously they were just hammering out to everyone. And again, the funny thing is, like, I do more business than them. But it's just, they were trying to fully sell themselves of, like, oh, you should bring this person on. And it's like, well, how does that benefit everyone else? It's great for you. You could be like, oh, now she was on a podcast and everything. I didn't even send it to you because I just kind of laughed at it. Yeah. It was just like, no, like, we've had some private lenders ask us, like, oh, can you promote us? And it's like, again, yes, you may pay us, but, like, what is the benefit for other people? Like, that's what Alex and I look at, is like, how do we benefit other people?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Next time, Alex, if they do ask, talk to me about it, because they want to be a sponsor.
Yeah, but again, like, hey, we could bring on. I don't care about having other mortgage brokers in. It just, again, the way that they came at it was like, this is not
with the honest of intentions.
Yeah, it was just like, hey, we think you should bring this person on because they'll bring a bunch of business people to you because they're well known in the industry. It's like, again, are you going to say, hey, we're going to talk about, this is why I think mortgage rates are going to go up? It was just, you could tell it was an AI thing. They just sent it out to probably every podcast out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear this. This is what I do love about Cumberland and the island, is you can hear a dirt biker in the backyard. They have people that rip around here. You can't have that in Surrey.
No, definitely not.
You hear Alex's train. That's about it. But yes, it's so cool here. It's, again, if you looked up, and I went to Cumberland as a teenager, and we used to call it Scumberland. That was the nickname here. It was probably one of the worst places in Canada. It used to be where all the riffraff used to go.
Okay. So Alex is a reformed riffraff.
Yeah, exactly. I grew up in Union Bay. I remember when I came here in grade 7, my parents wouldn't let me leave school grounds at first. They were scared that way and everything. And it is the hipster. It is the Squamish of the island is what it's become.
Yeah. So Alex doesn't live in Courtney. He lives in a suburb of Courtney.
Exactly.
And what's the population of Cumberland?
Ooh, I don't know. I would have
5,000, 10,000?
Maximum 5,000, probably lower than that. I would think like 2,000 would be my guess.
Yeah.
I think all across Courtney, Comox, and Cumberland, like all of them together, I think we're at like 35, 40.
Okay. Yeah. So still smaller than Maple Ridge.
Yeah, again, we talk about, hey, ordering stuff. It takes me 3 days to get something from Amazon, where Alex gets it in like 6 hours.
yeah, 100%. But I mean, hey, but real estate's way more expensive, a lot of convenience and all that stuff. How about, what's the predictions on market interest rates wise? We've talked about this before. What are your thoughts heading into next year?
I would say that rates would be higher next year. That would be, again, fixed rate, maybe a little bit higher, nothing too much higher that way. But I do think they are going to be a bit higher. Variable, based on everything that's happening right now, I could see them increasing it in a year. I don't think it's going to happen this year, but I would say if we probably timestamped it today, I bet you we're at like 4.14 on a 3-year fix right now. I think next year will be higher than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm a little bit more like, it's probably going to be about the same for this year. Like for the rest of this year, I don't see it really changing that much. Like I said, with rate, like real estate kind of may drop again for till next year. It might flatten. Yeah, it's hard to, I could see it. If it does go up, it'll be going up beginning of next year. But if real estate's going to stay flat, I think rates are going to honestly stay the same.
It's all going to determine what's going on in Iran, oil, inflation, and everything that way. And again, it's just right now,
Kuzma, everything, right?
And so that's, again, I would say that, but to next week, it could be completely different. I would temper, bonds were coming down. The expectation that rate would maybe come down. That's changed again. And hey, rates are not coming down for the variable side. That's what the experts are saying today.
Yeah. I mean, we're at a point now where we can't even predict past 3 to 6 months anymore.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
We can only say like, hey, there's all these conflicts going on. If it settles, this looks like it'll project out to be this way. And then all of a sudden something new comes along and it just blows our numbers out.
I would be personally happy if rates stay the same. That to me, I think would be healthy for our market. That way, if home prices came down a little bit, like that to me would be all pros. I think I would be excited. And in 200 episodes, I would be able to say, hey, awesome. People were actually able to buy more homes. Rates did not increase. They did not decrease. And it was a net benefit.
Absolutely. Hey folks, this has been great. We got to wrap up, but, if you've enjoyed our pod, please do us a favor, like, share, subscribe, share it to another friend or family member. Help us grow the community. Alex, man, this has been great. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for having us. Come on over, and we're going to be going out for dinner here as a family and stuff. And that's and you might be going on the boat tomorrow. Yeah, we're going to go on the boat. It'll just be me and my oldest because my youngest gets crazy motion sick. So my wife and my youngest is going to go shopping or do stuff. But they're great. We are not going to be here next week. We're going to be back to our homes, back to our humble studio apartment. And I have a surprise to show you, my little backdrop. I will show you. Upgraded.
Yeah, I've upgraded a bit. Yeah. All right, folks, on behalf of Alex Shanks, I'm Alex Pang. Thanks for tuning in to episode 100, episode 100 of the Canadian Mortgage Show. We'll see you next time.
Talk to you later. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure to follow us. Please give us a 5-star rating. You can even send us an email because we want to know what you guys want to hear about. That's what we're here for. Reach out anytime.